start. Ta-da! Ta-da!
The very word secrecy is repugnant in a free and open society.
You're in violation of secure communication procedures, Commodore.
So we just went ahead and fixed the glitch.
There is no America. There is no democracy.
Our fifth objective, a new world order.
There are no nations. There are no peoples. There are no Russians. There are no Arabs. There are no third worlds. There is no West.
Right-wing conspiracy.
What do you call it when the assassins accuse the assassin?
A new world order.
Thank you for plugging in to the Stones Unturned podcast.
Well, just a second there, Professor. We fixed the glitch.
I'm your host, Professor Thomas Henry Horan.
He reads everything.
Hello there, you lucky devils. You better believe he reads everything. Where is everybody? I started a little bit early, unable to connect to chat. Please try again later. Excellent connection. Excellent. 2 concurrent viewers. Successfully connected. Let's try this. What do you mean live streaming isn't available right now? Let me see what's going on. There's that. Okay, let me switch to this. That's more like it. That's more like it. You probably just got your alert that I'm about to go live. Hi, Allard. Allard? Woot woot, y'all. Okay. This is working. That's good. 0 dropped frames. That's even better. I think I have that pretty well in hand. Wait for people to show up. Today we'll go through some more news. There's a lot of news, and I'll show you what I've got so far on. It's not so much about Alex Jones, but before we talk about Columbine, we got to talk about Alex Jones. How shall I compare thee? Alex Jones is like Tucker Carlson. What's his name? He's disinfo prop. He is a synthetic conspiracy theorist, although he himself might be. Somebody say something. Let me make sure chat's working. Somebody say something on this. Hi, Gary. I'll wait for Creepy Crawl to show up, but does anybody have any idea? I mean, I'm still working on it. I mean, I can just Google it right now. Let me just be a little extra careful with this kind of stuff. Alex Jones, Family CIA. If Alex Jones hadn't existed, do you know Hoofties would have to invent him. I mean, he's made to order, and he right there at the dawn of the public getting on the interwebs, right there. Here's a Quora article. How did Alex Jones get to be so rich? Was it from the CIA funding InfoWars? This is on Quora. Oh, no one has answered it. No one has answered this question. Maybe I'll answer it. My answers average about 1,800 views a week. Can you be expelled from college for cheating? You can be charged with defrauding the U.S. Department of Education if you are on if you receive one penny. And actually, if you go to any publicly funded college, you don't have to be getting financial aid. Your education is subsidized by the Department of Education, and you can be charged with fraud. But if you're getting student loans and all that other good stuff and you cheat, you can be charged with defrauding the Department of Education. And you're not only expelled from college, your name goes like the FAFSA database. I mean, the college enrollments database. You can't get into another college. It just depends on, you're not guaranteed. First offense, you're a freshman. We usually look for signs you've learned your lessons. College students don't understand how serious it is. They do not understand how serious it is if you cheat in college. This is why there's no excuse. They're making all these excuses for all these lefty professors getting busted for cheating, and including the ones who are in charge of preventing people from cheating. It's a big deal. Cheating, academic dishonesty is a capital offense in academia. Hi, Baby Bull. There you are. Good to see you. Hi, Anthony. Sorry, this was dead air. He was custom made for the Southern Poverty Law Center. Yeah, the director of the Clinton National Airport. I'll talk about that today, Baby Bull. Thanks. I'll show you what I got so far. I'm not focusing on Alex Jones. I'm just saying that what I'm working on, and you'll see very soon, the first full-blown episode on Columbine. I just thought it was funny that Alex Jones is infamous for literally screaming. He literally screams wacko conspiracy theories about everything, except he barely mentioned Columbine. And it's funny because InfoWars, he'd been on public access TV, and then he was on an internet. They distributed, let me back up. He was on a syndicated radio program, call-in radio program. Then InfoWars was created like the day after, during, the week before Columbine. But he goes right into Oklahoma City and Waco, which even before he goes on InfoWars, because they created this illusion. InfoWars had a lot of producers and a lot of reporters, but Alex Jones really kind of jumps out front because he just screams. He just screams all the time. Like, I don't know what happened to his voice. He must have screamed a lot as a child because he just shrieks these wacko conspiracy theories at the top of his lungs. And miraculously becomes this huge, well, a pretty big internet hit. He's had a pretty big following. And he goes from being totally non-profit to, it's not just advertising products on his show. He's the one selling these ridiculous survivalist toothpaste that cures coronavirus, all the way to fallout pills, these iodine fallout pills. Yeah, right. Then there's the really stupid ones, like he's actually Bill Hicks, which he's not. But there's somebody out there constantly driving the Alex Jones publicity bandwagon. Are you with me? But the thing that really makes him famous among the lefty media is his Sandy Spook ramblings and shriekings. Then he eventually owes all that money to the victims' families. Like, how convenient is that? But they wait 5 years. I didn't realize they waited 5 years to sue. Why did they wait so long to sue? Why did they wait so long to sue Alex Jones? What's the big delay? We're going to look into things like that, but not too deeply. It's just about Columbine and Sandy Spook and all these other school shootings. But I've just been telling people since 1999, InfoWars is blatantly obvious. Who would call it InfoWars unless it's a secret FBI InfoWars program? Like, they have InfoWars as their new word for COINTELPRO or something, or their propaganda war is called InfoWars, right? So you'd call the website InfoWars, right? Right, there's a documentary, he was selling tapes, right? He sold VHS tapes of a 2-hour documentary on the New World Order, which was all pretty superficial stuff. Rules of Engagement, what's that about? What you're going to see, Rules of Engagement's a sitcom. American war legal drama film. William Friedkin. So that's not it either. Rules of Engagement documentary. Waco, The Rules of Engagement, 1997 documentary. William Gazecki. Show you this. Because that was his other claim to fame. He gets on a local radio station and he starts raising money for the survivors, for the people of that. It's not like that cult just, oh, gosh, I guess we were in a cult. No, they still live there, had no place to go. So he raises money for them. Spearheaded by gun rights activist Michael McNulty. Former CNN Business News reporter Dan Gifford and his wife came in as co-producers, supplying another $1 million to the budget. Well, that was nice of them. I'd like $1 million for my budget. Different cuts of this documentary have been produced. Let me see if I can find it. Is it on SpewTube? Full length. Which cut is this? We can't watch it on. I just want to. Okay, I'll download that later. But don't you see? Don't you see how this operation discredits the Clinton administration? This is the long history going all the way back to the Warren G. Harding assassination conspiracy theory, right? When I say Republican, it's not every Republican's in the inner circle, but there's this Republican Party elite who have controlled this blob, or some people call it the octopus. It's okay. They dominate it for a long time. And during the Clinton administration, it's still going on. Democrats in the White House, so all these Operation Chaos operations are discrediting the government. And suddenly there's this flip-flop. It's got more to do with Hillary than it does with Bill. And then now suddenly the Democrats have the keys to the blob. And the end of this transition is Columbine. Well, remember, Columbine comes in the middle, all this Osama bin Laden stuff. And Alex Jones predicting that Osama bin Laden would be blamed for planes being crashed into the World Trade Center. Right? Where did this idiot get that one piece? Where did he get that nugget of solid gold intelligence? This was solid. Now, you didn't have to be a genius to guess this, but Alex Jones is not a genius. Yeah, I think that's the plan, baby. The plan has been for a long time. Throw out the most ludicrous conspiracy theories, then that can easily be debunked, then debunk them, because you created them in the first place. Look how easy it is to debunk every word that ever came out of his mouth, except him predicting, and there's no doubt about this. A few months, this was the summer of 2001. He predicted it. Oh yeah, David Koresh, you're looking at a somewhat less entertaining, but he was pretty entertaining. You're looking at Charles Manson. You're looking at Pancho Villa, the Charles Manson of Mexico. Well, thanks, Simone. Click the link. Join the thing. You're missing. Believe me, you watch archived episodes. You want to don't go all the way back to the beginning of the episodes about the phony Limburg baby kidnapping. Kind of go back. I'll make a post about new members. Probably want to start here. And you can go back and watch all those old archived episodes about the phony kidnapping of the Limburg baby. The phony kidnapping of the Limburg baby is the first really full-blown FBI, COINTELPRO, fake crime. There's a dead baby. And propaganda campaign that goes along with it. Like, they'd been dabbling in this stuff for years. It goes full-blown with the phony kidnapping of the Limburg baby. Yeah, it's clear that David Koresh was precisely another Charles Manson. But he wasn't, born Charles Manson, didn't have Charles Manson's background. But he's raised to be Charles Manson. Remember, he played guitar and sang. Remember? I mean, he was Charles Manson. And really, well, once I draw you a fairly accurate picture of Columbine, then we'll compare Columbine to Waco. But I'm going to compare Columbine to Manson first and then compare Waco to Manson. You'll see it's the same thing, but it's run by two different generations of people. That's kind of a big part of it. You go from quasi-religious cult leaders who become dangerous insurrectos to far-right gun nuts who become dangerous anarchists. Really, when you really think about it, these school shootings they're not communist, they're not Nazi, they're anarchist. And that's important. It's really important. The switch from institutional revolutionary parties like the Communist Party, the National Socialist Party, Republican Party starts out as a revolutionary party. It's a third party. Abraham Lincoln was a third party candidate who was knocked off the ballot in 7 states. Don't forget that. David Koresh is Jim Jones redux. But you go from institutional, whether it's communist, quasi-Christian, whatever, even quasi-Muslim. These Muslim terrorists are not true Muslims. They're no more Muslim than the KKK is Christian. But you go from that to anarchists, and then you finally get because remember, while we wait for people to log in, don't forget, the Patriot Act was written by the Clinton administration. They really wanted to enact it after after Columbine, but that didn't work out. So they had to wait until 9/11 to enact it. But it was written by the Clinton administration. I haven't even had time to begin to talk about the Department of Homeland Security. We keep talking CIA, FBI, CIA. Why was it necessary to create a whole new agency when we already had the FBI and the CIA? And this was not something that was done from scratch. This was planned for a long time, and it goes all the way back, it goes back before Waco. But Waco was really the excuse for the Department of Homeland Security. Politically, who were they blaming? They're not blaming the communists because the Cold War's over. Although the Cold War with China is not over. They're blaming... Nobody in America really cares about Islamic terrorism yet. It's just... And don't forget who trained Osama bin Laden. Don't forget that. He's America's Osama bin Laden. If Charles Manson had joined Al-Qaeda, he'd be David Koresh. Because the Christianity of David Koresh is a lot closer to Islam than it is to traditional eschatological doomsday Christianity. He's much closer to Muhammad than he is to Jesus. Although there is a Jesus who is obviously a militant. He's obviously based on a couple of previous militants. There's a Jesus who fights against Antiochus Epiphanes, and that brings in the Maccabees and the Hasmonean dynasty. And then there's a Jesus who is crucified not by Pontius Pilate, but by Mark Antony. Well, Anthony, start sending me links and things. By all means. Because you get the OSS, which is riddled with commies. It's started by a commie, and it's filled with commies. So Truman, who's a Democrat, Roosevelt's vice president, how long did that last? He kicks out he shuts down the OSS. He disbands it. Then they start the CIA because they figure they can filter out all the commies who had been in the OSS. Well, they weren't able to do that. Thanks in part to J. Edgar Hoover. Was J. Edgar Hoover a dupe? A willing dupe? Or a double agent? We'll never know. But he was gay. Like a lot of commies. Like a lot of commie victims. Like a lot of commie dupes. Willing dupe. They're blackmailed by the commies. Don't forget that. What are some other things you don't want to forget? We're finally starting to tie some of this stuff together. Hi, JJ. Children of God. And yeah, where have you been, Anthony? speaking of Manson, when we come back to Manson, that we'll have to do soon, we'll talk more about these quasi-Christian cults, the Children of God and James Jones, and right on up to David Koresh and the Branch Davidians. You can't just build one and hope it works. You got to build a whole bunch of them in case the first one doesn't work. You know, kind of like the atom bomb. They didn't just build one bomb and hoped it worked. They were already mass-producing bombs. It's like the iPhone. You don't build one iPhone and hope somebody buys it. You got to build millions of them. It's called supply-side economics. And Simone, if you don't know exactly what love is, you can click those. There are tips, there are super chats, and all kinds of things you can do to send me love. I suggest you spend your money, click the link, and get signed up. Maybe that's what you're doing now. Click the link, get signed up to the premium website. I think I saw this. I think I saw one version of this, but it's been a long time, so I will watch this again. For sure. I will for sure watch that again. You know what Jean-Paul Sartre said about Simone de Beauvoir, his wife, right? Simone's terrific. She thinks just like a man. That was why he fell in love with her. Didn't he? He was not just in a concentration camp, but he was in the concentration camp where they were making counterfeit monies, right? That's the real Jean-Paul Sartre. He's fascinating. I'll take him over the doctor who was supposedly, there's this Dr. Frankel, Man's Search for Meaning. I don't know how real his story is. Jean-Paul Sartre's been pretty well documented. Yeah, his father served the French government in Indochina. No, he wasn't in a concentration. Hold on. Drafted in the French army. Yeah, he spent 9 months in prisoner of war. He returned as a professor at the Lycée Pasteur. Okay, I'm thinking of somebody else. Never mind. Doesn't matter. Nobody's watching right now anyway. The stream is working, so I know the chat is working. So today's episode's not finished yet. I'm going to show you what I got so far, and then we're going to talk about news, things like that. It's just now 2 o'clock. I get bored waiting for 2 o'clock. So I go on early. Alex Jones. I can't find anything terribly spooky about most of his family. It's not really CIA disinfo. Well, it might be. They're not the only ones. The CIA does not have a monopoly on any of this stuff. Oh, how about Beyonce in the CIA? The CIA does not like black people. You can always tell a CIA operation because it'll be lily white. Especially you go back in the past, you go back before the year 2000. If the CIA had anything to do with it, you'll know because it's lily white. Frank Lucas was the first deal that the CIA ever made with anybody with black skin. And she's she's at least as white as I am. Beyonce in the CIA. Oh, I have heard. Oh, I heard about this a long time ago. I heard about this. I just. Beyonce kidnapped Brazilian pop star Sia. Now she does country music. Yeah, there's something really weird about those two. There is something really weird about those two. There's something weird about Jay-Z. You know, a lot of those people, Tupac Shakur, a lot of those people come from Black Panther families. Hi, Anonymous. Hi, channel. So some of you guys are catching on. You're going straight to the premium site. That's good. Kanye West controversy of he's another one, right? Isn't he another one? They're like Michelle Obama. Talk about white privilege. Michelle Obama, Kanye West, Tupac Shakur, they had services and support and access that I didn't even dream of growing up in my little white rural farm town. I didn't even have a library. You should see have you read Michelle Obama's obituary? I mean, biography? The Kennedys didn't get as much help as children and students as Michelle Obama. They were looked down on at Harvard for being Catholic. Michelle Obama was wrapped up in the red carpet and delivered. She wasn't the only one. Kanye West is another one, right? Magnet school, all this crap. Well, it's not crap, but what I'm saying is I didn't get any of that. I got none of that. All I had going for me was this face, this charisma, and this voice. I didn't even get this voice till I got out of the hospital. Early life, Atlanta, Georgia. Moved to Chicago in 1980. Former Black Panther. Worked at the Atlanta Journal-Constitution. West's mother was a professor of English. Chicago State University, middle-class environment, Polaris School for Individual Education in Oak Lawn, Illinois. Thank God Kanye was able to overcome my white privilege. I had the privilege of shoveling hog shit into a manure spreader at 5 o'clock in the morning before breakfast was served. At the age of 6 years old. That was my privilege. I'm not complaining. What I'm saying is white privilege, white privilege, white privilege. And it's being talked about by people who got all the privileges that even rich white kids don't always get. Yeah, George Bush, and George W. Bush, yeah, sure. Hillary Clinton, yeah, sure. I will say this. Barack Obama admitted it. When he was running for president, he admitted it. My girls have it much easier. There's millions and millions of white kids. Got it much tougher than my girls. And I'm sure there are plenty of reasonable black people who also acknowledge see the same thing. But what I'm saying is, none of these people was ghetto. Not one of these people was born sharecroppers. Not one of these people. These were all middle-class Black Panthers. All of them. Parents went to law school. They went to all these great schools. Every single one of them. Except, possibly, Biggie. Biggie was pretty much an actual... Biggie and the Wahlbergs have had real street cred. The rest of them are fake, phony. They're the Black Charles Mansons. They're trying to... These are middle-class kids who are raised to try to co-opt hip-hop music for the establishment. And these record labels all own... They own the for-profit prisons. You know that, right? Hey, Spartan. Well, am I kicked off of YouTube yet? All right, you guys look like you're already heading over to the premium website. Oh, and Fannie Willis's dad? Yeah, absolutely. All of them. Obama's mother was a CIA, an actual contracted CIA anthropologist. You know this, right? Studied under Cora Dubois, carried on after Cora Dubois came back to the States. Her replacement in charge of that project was Obama's mother. And Prince Hall Freemasonry, right? The Black Muslim Freemasons. That's Obama. That church that he and Michelle belong to, that's a Prince Hall African Methodist Episcopal Church, right? I've asked several black people. They say they're Methodists. My mother's crypto-Jewish family were practicing Methodists. They weren't really crypto-Jews. They had, my parents had me circumcised in case, so that when I grew up, I would have they asked me if I wanted to be bar mitzvahed because they didn't want to deny me my heritage. So they did have me circumcised. Other than that, it was up to me. My brother made David Koresh look like Pat Robertson. No, he didn't, but he joined a church that made the Branch Davidians look like Pete the Elk Club. He just, opposites attract. And he was not a stereotype of their ministers. That's not the point. Yes, it is the point. The point is they gave us the choice. What do we want to do? And beyond that, they were Methodists. So I'll meet black people and say they're Methodists, AME or whatever, and they look at me like I called them a dirty name. Because let me tell you something. You think you're a conspiracy theorist, meet a black person sometime. Make friends with a black person. You'll hear conspiracy theories. You think Alex Jones has a far-out conspiracy theory about Beyonce and Jay-Z? Where do you think Alex Jones got that conspiracy theory? And it's probably true. Michelle Obama graduated from Princeton fucking University. Princeton. I don't think her daughters got accepted. Princeton. I was accepted to Stanford and MIT. I couldn't get... There are people who are paid to burn application letters. People like me at Princeton. Princeton? She graduated from Princeton. Princeton. A Harvard A is known as a Princeton C. She says she was a little shocked at how prejudiced the other students and faculty were at Princeton. Yeah, you didn't go to Harvard, honey. You didn't go. Actually, those colleges were taken over by that free speech movement generation. All those. Berkeley was maybe the most conservative college in America. It made George Washington University look like, until they took it over. Now they're infiltrating the Catholic Church. They've admitted this repeatedly. Princeton. Michelle Obama went to Princeton. Please, please, please set me down and lecture me about white privilege. Please. Hi, Creepy Crawl. There you are. Get over to the private thing. Here's the thing, Creepy Crawl. I took you seriously when you said that Alex Jones's family were linked to the CIA. Could you please offer one shred of a detail, either here or on the premium site? Because I'll show you what I found, and it's about that much, but it's interesting. If there's somebody in his family, he's obviously disinfo. I'm thinking more FBI than CIA. Look at his age. We all tend to lump everything under CIA, but the CIA, first of all, let's get this straight. The CIA is the most overrated, most overhyped, most overpromoted, most over this, over that, and over everything else intelligence agency in the history of this planet. The CIA couldn't find its own ass with both hands and an FBI flashlight. They're a joke. They're some kind of... I think the Central Intelligence Agency is a disinfo prop operation. They never did anything. Name one thing that they got right. Name one... You know what? Honduras, maybe? They engineered a coup in Honduras that lasted. That's it. Name one thing they succeeded at. Just one. Yeah, all these gangsta rappers, no, they're just they're playing characters. You understand this, right? Biggie and the Wahlbergs. The Wahlbergs were real street thugs as kids, as children. Violent criminals at like 9, 10 years old on the streets. But the CIA takes credit for a lot of stuff I don't think they had jack shit to do with. All they do is screw things up. Okay, so let's just wrap this up and get over to the premium site. Before you all defect over to Manny. Thank you all so much. Get plugged in. Get plugged in. Click those links in the description of this YouTube video and get plugged in.